Nandhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Starting 2 minutes late, doesn't matter. We completed the 6th chapter. Yesterday, we almost completed the 3rd chapter. We definitely finished Karma Yoga. So today there are 2 smaller topics talked by Krishna in the 3rd chapter. I will cover it a little fast because they are not very big subjects. One is what is called as Shrestha Achara. So in the 3rd chapter, Krishna says, Karmanevi samsiddhim astita janakadeha lokasangrahima vapi sampashyan kartumarhasi yadyad acharate shreshtaha taddadyevi itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanuvartade. He says, people like Janaka, Yajnavalkya and others, they samsiddhi, they got the siddhi through karma only, karma yoga and then jnanam. They did not take sannyasa. Okay, and as a grahastha, they did karma as karma yoga. He was a king, not only an ordinary grahastha, he was a king, with all the responsibilities of governing a country. So he, through his karma yoga, doing the karma as karma yoga, and ultimately jnanam through shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam, he got the jnanam. And the question is, if a person has got jnanam, he has become a jnani, and he understands that he is Advaita Brahman, he is the Paramarthika level as far as in reality. Now, should he continue to follow all the vidhis, rules, or should he continue to do karma yoga, let us say? No, what should he do? Should he give up all his karma? What should he do? So Krishna says, even if a person becomes a jnani and he no more needs karma yoga, because karma yoga has done his job the moment he has got chitta suddhi and then he has got jnanam, and he is absolutely, his life is fulfilled. For what purpose he is born, he has achieved it. He continues to live because of prarabdham. Okay, now how does he live? So Krishna says that he should continue to be an example to other people who have not become jnanis. So he should live exactly, follow all the niyatam karma and all that. He should do his sandhya vandanam, his pujas and his various karmas as any ajnani would do, so that he continues to be an example for them. See, so this is a matter which applies to even our own real material domestic life. For example, children imbibe by visual example how the parents behave. Parents, what they tell them may not go into their mind and go into their head, but how the parents conduct themselves, the children observe and they follow. Okay, so that's why in the presence of children one must conduct himself properly. And you cannot the father cannot himself smoke and say don't smoke. If he doesn't smoke in his presence, he will clandestinely smoke. Okay, so this is very important. Sometimes people say when the telephone comes, please tell father he is not at home. Okay, now these are convenient but bad examples. Okay, so yadyad acharate shreshtaha, whatever this shreshta purusha, the elder people, the educated, wise people, whatever they follow, itaro janaha, other people follow the same sort of rules. Therefore, this shreshta achara is very necessary. Okay, so this this shreshta means people who are the heroes. For example, now all the advertisement system, the concept advertisement is based on, where do they show Saurav Ganguly or Tendulkar drinking Coca-Cola or Shah Rukh Khan drinking Coca-Cola, or why does, because children see Shah Rukh Khan drinks, Tendulkar drinks, I must drink Coca-Cola. Mummy, get me Coca-Cola please. Okay, so that is how the world runs, isn't it? So Shrestha Purusha, whatever they do, they are being watched. So they have a responsibility to conduct themselves, not for themselves, for the sake of Loka Sangrahartha. For the welfare of the people, they have to do that one. Okay, so this is one important point. Okay, then the other one is, next point Krishna talks about is the last portion, Kama and Krodha. Arjuna asks the question, Ata kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi vashneya baladivan yojitaha. Why do people commit papa, sin, even though as if they are forced, anichannapi vash, kena prayuktayam, by pushed by what? And the kena prayuktayam papam charati purushaha anichannapi vashneya baladiva, forced. People do wrong things. Why do they do wrong things? Why don't people follow the straight path, the dharmic route? Why do they do things in a non-dharmic way? No. So Krishna answers, one simple answer he gives, Kamayesha Krodayesha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyanam Havairinam. You know what it means is, he says Kama, that is Kama, desire. And he says that is Krodha, anger. He says desire and anger. When you say and anger, desire itself is anger. Okay. What he means by that is that people are pushed into wrong action because their desire for things is so strong. So somehow I must achieve what I want by right means or wrong means. If you adopt the right means, there is no problem at all. Okay. Then when you adopt the wrong means, then you naturally do papa. Okay. And then if your desire is not fulfilled, somebody obstructs your desire, sometimes somebody comes in the way of your desire, then you get anger, isn't it? Obstruction of your desire leads to anger. Kama unfulfilled leads to anger. Okay. So this is the cause. Desire. Kama is the basic root cause. Even what we say is, even from a Vedantic point of view, we say there is avidya granthi we talk about. There is a cycle. That is, the truth is that I am the Atma, the Purna Vastu, the Satchidananda Swarupam. I am not aware of my own Swarupam, my own self. So, there is because of ignorance. That is avidya. Avidya is ignorance. Okay. Because of my ignorance of the self, I think I am an incomplete person. So, I am an unfulfilled person. So, I must fulfill myself. And how do I make myself a complete person? You get things, you get people, I will be happy if I marry. Then I must have a son, child. So it keeps on adding to that one. Then I must have this, I must have that. So many things, extents. Okay. Avidya, then Kama. So I want this is all Kama. Okay. Then if you want something, what you should do? You must do karma. If you want to achieve something, you want to, say, let's say buy a car, then you must earn that money. Or you go on to the hire purchase people and convince them, talk to them, whatever you do. So, karma is necessary to get anything. You want to have a house, build a house, action is required for that purpose. Okay, everything, Kama leads to karma. And then you do karma, you can do the right way, the wrong way. If you want money to buy, a house, let us say, then if you are in a position to take some bribe, probably you take it so that you meet your requirement. Some people do that. I'm not saying that. People do the wrong things. Why people do wrong things? Because it's desire. I want this. No, I must have a beautiful house. I don't have enough money. Let me do even the wrong thing. That's a normal human nature. Okay. Avidya, Kama, Karma. Once you do the wrong thing, you have to suffer or enjoy the Karma Palam. Now, Punya Palam, okay. Papa Palam, you'll have to suffer that. Even Punya Palam, you have to enjoy. So, in order to enjoy the Punya Palam or suffer the Papa Palam, you have to be born again. Okay, so avidya, kama, karma, palam, janma. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. This is how the samsara cycle goes. Okay, so kama is at the beginning of the root of the whole thing, when I say beginning, at the root of the thing. So Krishna says kama is the real villain. So now he discusses how this karma works. So what he advises is that to handle this karma, how to handle this karma. If you handle the karma, you automatically handle the krodha. If the desire is basically curbed, then the extension of non-fulfillment and obstruction of the desire and anger automatically gets curbed. Okay, he says, first you control your indriya nigraha, your sense organs. Okay, now desire starts from you are seeing so many things. Okay, and when you see the thing, jayato vishayan pumsa sangaste shubhajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha. So you see the window shopping, you go, see so many things are attractive. Oh, it's nice, it's nice, it's nice. When you go home, it starts working in your mind. How nice it will be if I have it. And then it keeps on working on you. I must have it, I must have it, I must have it. Then it further, later on it says, I can't be without it. Somehow I must get it. So that is how it builds itself up. The karma builds itself up like that. Okay? This is what he describes. Krishna describes in the second chapter in the talking about Sthita Prajna. So nip it in the bud at the Indriya stage. See, what I say is, I don't say that you should not see, you should not, no. We have to live in the world, everything is there. But we are being dragged by certain things, in the TV, the newspaper, take anything, they all drag your senses. Okay. Now, you must have sufficient vairagyam to resist their pull and know what you really need, what you can afford and what you should have. That is, okay, Indriya Nigraham is one thing to control karma. Then when it goes to the next stage, mind, if you are not able to control, the mind stage, what happens, these become vasanas and they become addictions, become more difficult to control. Once you have tasted something, then your mind says, I want that, I want that, I want that. No, we have got so many things there. Without being conscious, you have got addicted to it. In normal life, morning cup of coffee is a must. The Hindu newspaper, you must browse in the morning. It must be there. No, so many things we are so used to. Okay. No, I must sleep in that bed. I must have that pillow. All kinds of things are, and this becomes particularly a problem. I am talking from experience. As you grow older, this becomes much stronger. These requirements become much stronger. Okay. So do not allow them to become vasanas and start control you. Okay. So mano nigraha. Okay. So this should be discouraged. This is a kind of development of vasanas. Should be curbed, because you allow it to build itself, then you had it. So if you recognize that this is going to become a habit for me, then you will know what to do. Okay, you should do that. And then last he says is, most important thing is, have discrimination, viveka. See, to say that I should not see this, or I should, mentally I should not think about it. It's all controlling by imposing, by saying, by dictating. Dictating never works. Mind also, you see, in your mind, it's another person, who either dominates you or you dominate him. Okay. So it's like a child, you tell him don't do it, he will do it. You must have heard about the Karunkurange story. So, so a person went to a doctor, supposed to be that itinerant doctor. So for some problem he had, so he gave him a thailam and said, you apply it in the morning. When you apply it, do not think about Karunkurange, black monkey. If you think about black monkey, it will not work. Okay. So what will happen? When he puts it, at a time only Karunkurange only will come before you, isn't it? So you cannot dictate to the mind. But mind has got one beautiful capacity. You convince the mind, it will listen to you. This applies to children also. When you tell them the reason why, then they are more likely to listen to you. Now here also the same thing. Here, if you are, if you are able to tell the mind that the worldly objects cannot give you lasting happiness. They are all defective. That happiness will not last. They are all temporary. They won't last. And it always comes with dukkha mishra. Along with harm. See, for example, you like, let us say, badam halwa, it's an example, badam halwa. How much can you take? You take once, twice, then it also harms you in the sense that it adds to your fat and cholesterol and whatnot. Okay, so it all dukkha mishram only. Okay, so, and how long does it last? You have it for 10 minutes, you enjoy that, and afterwards you go back to normal. Listen, it is not a lasting thing. See, this worldly sukham, vishaya santosham, vishaya sukham has got defects. Okay, for example, it has got atrupti karatvam. How many times you have it, you get fed up after some time. Then dukkha mishratvam. Then it always comes with, if you want to get something, you have to earn the money for that. You have to work for that. And working always have pain. So you have to undergo that. And even if you get it, to protect it is a problem. And ultimately when it leaves you, it's the biggest problem for you. It's gone. Okay. So it's all problem. So you understand that as a thinking person with your discrimination, viveka buddhi, then you can tell the mind, see, why are you hankering for that? These are the defects of this one. Then it will listen to you, more likely to listen to you. So these are the ways in which you can control karma. Okay, this is an important thing. We have to talk about it. There's a beautiful, this one in the next chapter, 5th chapter. So, yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yone yevati adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. So one of my favorite slokams. So we will come to that later. Now we go to 4th chapter. Now 3rd chapter is over. Okay, and now we'll go to the 4th chapter. Now in the 4th chapter, Krishna starts with a statement that this Jnana Yoga, 4th chapter is called Jnana Yoga. Okay. Now this Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, Atma Jnanam, which I am going to give you, this Jnanam is a very, very valuable, glorious, ancient one. Now, its glory is that this has been given by the Lord Himself in the beginning. And from Him it came to various people. Vivaswan, the sun god got it, then Manu got it, Ikshvaku got it. So like in a parampara, this Jnanam has come down. And what Krishna says is, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. So I am the person who gave this knowledge to sun god. See, in Krishna Avatara, Krishna makes no bone about the fact that he is the God. Rama Avatara and all that, he totally acts like a human being. Here, he not only by his acts has shown that he is God, but he also tells it in so many words. It is one of the occasions where he says, Imam Vivasvate Yoham Proktavan Aham Avyayam. I am the one who gave this to Vivaswan, sun god. Okay. Arjuna asks a question. Hey Krishna, what are you kidding? No, you were born only a few years ago, and you say that you gave it to sun god. So then Krishna tells him, listen, I am not what you think I am. Okay, I am the Lord of this universe. I have taken avatara to the world, and I come into the world for a certain purpose. So he says that is an avatara. What is an avatara? When the God Himself comes born in the earth. Now, though he, for all purposes, Ramachandra was born to Kausalya and Krishna was born to Devaki, but they did not take a janma like you and I have taken. Now, our janma are all based on karma. This jiva, which each one of us is a jiva, and the jiva is so many Ettanayo Piravi Eduthe Ilaithen, Ettanayo Piravi Eduthe Ilaithen. Now Ettanayo Kodi Piravigal, we have taken so many janmas. Why? Because we have got certain karma, and that karma mutai, it's a big karma, bundle is there, and that bundle, a portion is released when we are born. We come with that portion of karma which is called prarabdha karma. And then because of that karma, we enjoy, suffer, sukham, dukkham and all that in this world. And when we also enjoy, we also do some more karma and accumulate some more karma phalam, punyam papam. So this punyam papam goes back to that mutai which you have. So once the prarabdham is over, this janma is over. Then this jiva takes another janma and gets into another body, depending upon what prarabdha karma is released from that mutai, that bundle. So that is how our karma, our janma is taken. And when will that karma mutai be liquidated? Unlikely by itself, because every time we also add to that. If we enjoy or suffer a part of it, we add some more to that one, therefore it is an unending process. Yeah? Only one way is jnanam and then moksha. That's why we are all here to listen to Gita, Upanishads and all that, so that if you get that Atma Jnanam and understand the truth, then you are released completely from this cycle of birth and death. That is called Videha Mukti. That is the greatness of this knowledge. Okay, that's why people come to this knowledge. Okay, so whereas Lord is concerned, He takes an avatara not for, He has no karma. He has no karma. So He takes the avatara in the world now and then. So He Himself says, when does He take an avatara? Yada yada hi dharmasya, very famous statement. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. Whenever yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati, whenever dharmas deteriorate, dharma's position goes down in the world, people do not observe dharma is given the go by. Okay, what is dharma? Dharma, the right conduct. Dharma is the right conduct. How we should live in the society, in a harmonious manner. There are so many lakshanam for dharma, satyam vada, dharmam chara. So many things are there. And we should be fair to people, we should do this. So many things are there. We know what is dharma. Okay, whenever that goes down, if you take for example now, adharma is really on the higher side. Whenever you want to get a job done, people do not do it. They are paid for their job, but they will not do it unless they get something from you. No, this is a symbol of adharma only. Okay. Now, so many things are there to indicate that adharma is the up. Okay. So he says, whenever there is yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati, dharma's position goes down. Okay. Adharmasya abhyuttana. Adharma is the ascendancy. Adharma has the upper hand. Tada atmanam sujamyaham. Then I bring myself to be. Atmanam sujamyaham. I am not born. I am bring myself to be. His life, his appearance is really a maya. It is not karma and all that sort of thing. I bring myself forth into existence by my maya shakti. So in order to re-establish dharma. What for? Next sloka he says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstravanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I think one who popularized this sloka is Cho. So he had, in the 50s there was a drama, Sambhavami yuge yuge. He made a real parody of the political situation at that time, which continues, which has become worse. Still Krishna is not yet born. Okay. Probably things are much worse at that time. When Mahabharata war took place. Around that time things are much worse. So let us have the satisfaction. We are still to go down the drain some more, before the Lord decides to take a birth. Okay. Now, Paritranaya sadhunam paritranaya, to protect the good people. Sadhunam, good people. Sattvic people. Vinashaya dushkritam, to destroy the evildoers. Okay. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, to re-establish dharma. Okay. Right way of living. So we can still have hope that dharma will be re-established. Okay. And the Lord has to come down for that purpose. Take his janma. Make his existence in this world. In order to re-establish the dharma. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, yuge yuge. From age to age, from time to time, Sambhavami. When did Krishna take his birth? Roughly they say 5,000 years. it's very difficult to predict, but some calculations about 5,000 years he was born. Okay, so another probably 5,000 years, we don't know when. They say Kalki is going to take an avatar. Somebody says he's already taken an avatar, but it will happen when it has got to happen. He is the person who knows. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Okay, so this is what avatar. This avatar, as I said, it is the Lord Himself has come for a specific purpose, takes a birth, and then He lives like a human being. He was born to Devaki, and one day He is going to, the hunter who is his arrow, by the virtue of his arrow, he got killed also and went back. Again, to live like a human being and do whatever he wanted to do, to preach whatever he wanted to preach, he has done it and he has gone back. So, the context is, Krishna tells Arjuna, do not think that I am an ordinary person. I am the one who gave all these teachings through the Vedas. Okay, I am the Lord of the universe, but I have taken this body only for the purpose of protecting the right people and to destroy the evil people. Okay, so this is the Avatara Rahasyam. Okay, right. Now, let us go to that text now. So, the important, I'm picking up the main things. I will go to the main heart of the 4th chapter is Jnana. Okay. So, this is called Jnana Yoga. So, we'll come to that little later. The few other things he's talking about, he has talked about Chaturvanyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha Tasya Kartaram Abhimam Vidya Kartaram Abhyam. This is again a very famous shloka, quoted rightly some people, wrongly a lot of people. Okay, that this Bhagavad Gita preaches caste system, so condemn it. Is one big this one. It's a very wrong notion. What Lord Krishna said was, no doubt, Chaturvarnya Maya Srishtam. I created the 4 divisions. Varnam. Okay, not Jati, Varnam. No, Varnam means color or qualities, based on qualities. Guna Karma Vibhagasha, based on the guna of people. What is the basic nature, quality, capacity, ability? All these things are the guna and the karma, the job. What guna can do what karma? Guna Karma Vibhagasha. On the basis of that division I have done. Chaturvanyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha Tasya Kartaram Abhimam Vidya Kartaram Abhyam. So now, the Lord did this for the sake of the welfare of the society. This is a sort of a division of labor based on the ability of people, as he saw that. Now, what are these gunas he is talking about? Now, nature has got Maya, has got 3 gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tamo guna. So this whole world functions on the basis of these 3 gunas. 3 gunas are Sattva. Sattva means noble, intellectual, ability to read, ability to understand, ability to concentrate, okay, sit on one place, ability to meditate, ability to understand, grasp. These are all Sattva guna. Then Rajo guna, ability to act, achieve, go and do things, get the results. Rajo. Tamo guna, leave me alone, I don't want to do anything, lazy, okay, and then even you do it improperly. These are the 3 gunas. Basically we talk about Sattva, Raja, Tamo gunas. Now, all these 3 gunas are there everywhere, including in us. Now, we have Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna. If you ask me, all the 3 are important in their own way. Okay, now, Sattva guna, I must have the ability to read, understand, and to sit for a while, study. If you want to study something, 1 hour to be able to sit, 1 hour to be able to think, 1 hour now to be able to talk. Sattva guna must be there. Then I must also have Rajo guna, because if I sit in one place all the time, who is going to get my bread and butter? I have to work, I have to earn food, look after the family. All these are there. We have to have Rajo guna. We have to go to the office. We have to talk. Even talking is how going to walk this act, how going to have action. Okay, we have to do all that. Rajo guna is required. And then, should you rest or not? evening? Can you keep on thinking and doing things throughout 24 hours a day? You have to relax sometime. You have to listen to some music sometime. You have to go to cinema sometime. No, you have to see the TV sometime. It's not forbidden. We have to do that. That is very necessary. God has given sleep for what? So that we refresh ourselves. Okay. So Tamo Guna has also got its place. Now, what is important is what proportion these three gunas are in people. They are in different proportions. Some people have got Sattva predominant. They can read, study, understand, grasp, and then give discourses, so they can make people understand. Those Sattva Guna predominant. And then Rajo Guna next, and then Tamo Guna last. Such people were asked to, the Vedas had to be preserved. Somebody who had the capacity to so on and so forth, the problems, the state has to be taken care of. Okay, therefore you need the kings and the warriors. A tribe is required who are action oriented. So okay, who are prepared to give their life for the sake of dharma, protecting that dharma. So this fellow Sattva Guna Brahmin can do his Veda Adhyayam and so on and so forth only when he is safeguarded from other elements. That's why, Vishwamitra came to Dasharatha's court and requested for Rama and Lakshmana to come to defend his yajna. So, they were Kshatriyas, they were Rajo predominant, activity oriented, Sattva next, they are interested in the welfare of the society. Okay, that is a Sattva Guna, and Tama last. So, they were called Kshatriya. And then, third one is, the society's economy, has got to goods have to be, agricultural products to be produced, commerce, other transaction has got to be there. And that can be done only by people who have got a little selfish interest to make profit. Otherwise, why should you do that? So, third category of people, Raja predominant, Tama next, and Sattva last. Okay, Kshatriya is Raja predominant, Sattva next, Tama last. Here Vaishya was Raja predominant, Tama, selfish, and Sattva last. And then last of all is there must be, everybody cannot be a leader. They have to be followers. There are people who will say, don't give me the responsibility of taking care of everything, or directing and controlling, it's too much of a burden for me. I am not made for that. Tell me what I should do, I will do it. Okay? So, they are doers. In the sense that they are prepared to take instructions and do it. You need such people also. If everybody becomes king, who are the subjects? So such people are also there. They were called Shudras. So this names may have connotations which sometimes are offensive. That's all our making. But this is a broad division of the society. So Krishna said this division has been made so that the society may run in harmony. And dharma can be preserved. Dharma can be propagated, preserved and all that. And they gave their biggest respect to person who is going to carry the Veda forward. Veda contained all the important things for the Purushartha to be achieved. It's a guideline for everybody and all that. So they were given. Even Vasishtha was given an honored seat by Dasharatha in his court. Because his job was considered as important. Then came the Kshatriya, then came the Vaishyas and Shudras. So this was the way. So there is no wrong connotation. It suited that society. Maybe things have changed now. Even things when they have changed now, these classes, division, Taradamyam is there everywhere in any society. Even in communist Russia it was there. There were people, one class of people who had their dachas, they used to call, in the bungalows in the sea coast and all that. They were the privileged people. So, there are always this one. There is a beautiful book written by one George Orwell, Animal Farm. So it is a parody on the communist society. So there all animals decided to form a communist society. And then what happened was, there again Taradamyam came. So some animals, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. So what does it mean? So it's making fun of that. So cannot work. Okay. So anyway, this is the background to that. But there is no intention to put down some set of people, and it is all based on guna and karma. Okay. So this is all what we have to know about this particular one. It is really away from our subject, but since it came, I had to talk about it. Now I come to the main topic about the subject, 4th chapter. Okay. The main topic of 4th chapter is jnana. Okay. In chapter 2, which we saw, the bird's eye view, Krishna spent 11 to 25, 14 or 15 shlokas on talking about Atma. You know, he said, Natvevaham jadunasam natvam neme janadipaha nachevana bhavishyama sarve vayamadaparam dehinosmi nita dehi kaumaram yavananjara. So he went on saying, Achedyo yamada hemakledya soshyevache nitya sarvagadastano acharoyam sanada. What is Atma's nature? See, you are not, he said, pointed out that you are not the body. There is something other than the body which is really you. Because you do not see that Atma, that is the Atma. The word Atma means I. Atma, word means I. Now, whenever we say I, we mean, Yanaka Talai Velikirde means my head is aching. So, my body is I. I am afraid, my mind is I. I am happy, my mind is I. Okay, so we think this body-mind complex is I, but there is something other than that which is Atma. You remember I showed you that example, there is a light in addition to your hand, but when there is dark you say, what do you see? Nothing. When you put the light on you see hand. When you take out the hand you say there is nothing but light is still there. So we take for granted certain things. Here we do not see this Atma, so we do not know its existence. Okay, but that is the real truth of yourself. Okay, so this is the one he talked about in detail in the 2nd chapter. Now, here, if we are that Atma, and that Swarupam of the Atma is Sat Chit Anandam, it is existence, knowledge, and happiness. And happiness is Ananda Swarupam. And it is, existence means it is immortal. It doesn't perish. Antavanta imedeha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmat yudyasya bharata. Antavanta imedeha, this body only perishes. Nityayukta, eternally there that Atma. So the Atma is immortal. Okay, and that Atma is Ananda Swarupam. If somebody tells you, how will you accept it? What? I am not perishable. I do not know how many years I am going to be there. It can happen tomorrow. Can happen 10 years later, 50 years later, but it's going to happen. Jatasya dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya. Gita itself says that death is, anybody born has got to die. Okay, there is no alternative. Then how do you say this body does not die? No. And you say that is Ananda Swarupam. What? Are you kidding? Ananda Swarupam. You don't know all the problems I have. I don't get sleep. I have had so many problems. You know, my body itself is a problem. I have got blood pressure, I have got this, I have got diabetes. Oh, so many things. And then so many other things are headaches. My husband is a problem. Why should I say my wife is a problem? Husband is a problem. Children are a problem. My son-in-law is always a problem. Okay. So, no. How can I be? You say I am Ananda Swarupam. You are just making fun. No. All this happens because we do not know who really we are. There is an ignorance about ourselves. Okay? There is an ignorance, ajnanam. That ajnanam covers that Atma. Okay? Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitam atmanaha tesham adityavad jnanam prakashiti tatparam. See, that ajnanam covers that. Like the clouds cover the sun. When the clouds move away, the sun shines in its own glory. Likewise, this ajnanam, when it is removed by jnanam, then Atma shines on its own. It doesn't require this one, anything else. Okay, so all that you do have to do is to remove this cover of ajnanam, the veil of ignorance. Okay, so this is jnanam only gives this one. Okay, let's talk about the jnanam. Before that, this chapter talks about the glory of jnanam. We just now read that, this one. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram vidyate. There is nothing more bigger purifier, no greater purifier than jnanam. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram vidyate, says. And then it says, abhichedapi pabebhya sarvebhya papakritamaha. Sarvam jnana plavenaiva vidinam santarishyati. If a person is the biggest sinner, abhichesapi pavebhya sarvebhya papakritamaha. Sarvam jnana plavenaiva vidinam santarishyati. And once he gets into the jnana boat, then he crosses all the ocean of samsara. Okay, that great is jnanam. So, talks about the greatness of jnanam. Okay. And then, yataidamsi samidurgni bhasmasat kuruti arjuna, jnanabni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kuruti tada. And what is the greatness of jnanam? I told you just now, why do we take birth? Because of our accumulated karma. And that bundle of karma, what is called sanchita karma, karma mutai, it never diminishes. It always keeps on increasing. So, only way, yataidamsi samidurgni bhasmasat kuruti arjuna, dry bunch of wood, how fire, if you put that in fire, it is burnt into ashes. In the same way, jnanagni sarva karmani jnanagni daddati. In the same way, the fire called jnanam burns all your karma. Once you get this Brahma jnanam, then the karma which is accumulated over countless janmas, they all burnt down to ashes. You may ask, how does it happen? How is it possible? Okay, how is it possible? See, now there are many advanced students, teacher, people here, you can understand it also. See, the point is this. What does this ultimately Vedanta say? Jagan Mithya Brahma Satyam Jiva Brahmaiva Nabaraha. This creation is not real. We talked about it also, mentioned about it earlier also in some context. Nasato Vidyate Bhavo Na Bhavo Vidyate Sataha. At the time I told you that there is called Mithya, Satyam, Mithya. Satyam is always eternal. And there is Asat which doesn't exist at all. In between there is something called Mithya which has got a temporary existence. I gave you example of gold and the jewels. Okay, the jewels have got temporary existence, ultimately they become gold only. Okay, so Satyavastu is one. So I said also at that time, if you remember, like jewels being Namarupa and gold being Satyam, the creation whatever we see is all Namarupa. The Satyavastu behind that is the Brahman or the Atma. Okay, this is what I said. Now, if in this Mithya Prapancham, which is not real, which has got only temporary reality, you do something, you do karma, you do papa karma, let us take for example. Now, once you understand the truth of the Mithyatvam of this creation, what is the value of that papa karma? Like, I will give you an example. Supposing you go to sleep and dream, and in the dream you have murdered somebody. Let's just take an extreme example, as the Lord himself takes here. So, you've done a big crime. When you wake up, will you be arrested and produced before the court? No. Why? Why? It is mithya. Once you get that jnanam, understand that this creation is mithya. This world is nothing more than a swapna. And whatever you did has no effect then. That is the principle behind this. Jnanagni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurti tada. So that once you get that jnanam, when you get that jnanam, please understand, it is not just an information. Aham Brahmasmi is not an information. Unfortunately, we get that information and allow it to remain as an information. We don't get any benefit. I told you last class or earlier class, I think it's Siddha Prajna. So I told you, this jnanam must become real for you. It must be assimilated by you without doubts. Then it becomes true for you. When it becomes true for you, then you are a jnani. then this Jagat is really mithya. Whatever happens will not affect you. Okay, things will happen. Bad things will happen, good things will happen, but it will not affect you. So that is the greatness of jnana. Okay, now, so let's move on. Okay, now, see, this jnanam is, this ajnanam, ignorance is about me. It's an unfortunate part of it. See, this, I must get jnanam to remove this ajnanam, but this jnanam is about me. If this ajnanam is about something else, okay, supposing you do not know that H2 plus O is water, okay, 2 parts of hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen makes water. So in the laboratory they can produce water by injecting 2 quantum of H and 1 quantum of O and produce it and show you, see, I told you H2O is water, H2 plus O is water, this is water. They can produce and show. Okay. But here how do you show the Atma? It is yourself. When it is yourself, you cannot see yourself. Even if you see in a mirror, you see your reflection only. You can never see yourself. Okay. It is about yourself. See, this, so what happens is, now, this body is an appendage. No. When anything becomes a very regular part of your system, you consider that it is part of you. Now, for example, if somebody asks me what is in front of you, what is in front of me? Do I ever say in front of me there is spectacles? Really, in front of my eyes is only spectacles. But I say in front of me is a fan. What is in front of me is a fan. Because it has become a part of me. So, that's how this body has become I. Okay. But it is, body is really not that I. Okay. So, how do you know yourself? So, there is a beautiful story in the Vedanta Shastra. So there was a guru and he had shishyas. He had 10 shishyas. So he asked the shishyas to go across. Around the border of the village was a river. You cross that river, go to the other town, other village there, and hand over this to somebody. Okay. So these boys left. 10 of them left. So when they left, and there was really not much water in the river, they could just walk across and all to some extent water, swim and reach the other side. They reached the other side. Then they wanted to be sure that all of them have reached safely at the other side. So one of them said, come on, all of you stand in line. I would like to count whether we have all come. So he counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Forgot about himself. Yeah. So we normally forget about ourselves. Mukkanadi kandla potunde we thirdu. The mandala yeah. So Shavi pocket la potunde will search for it. So there is Atma Jnanam is very common. Okay. So he forgot himself. So only 9. So I said, what has happened? One fellow is not there. Who is it? Anyway, then next fellow said, come on, you do not count properly. You stand, I will count. So he stood there and counted the same way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. So they were all, we don't know, somebody is lost. When you go back, the guru is going to shout, and we do not know how to account for that person, and all that. Then one old person was coming that side. He said, what are you all worried about, disturbed about? They said, we all 10 of us started, and then we crossed this river, and then we find that one is missing. So that person understood what it is. And he is an outsider, isn't it? So he said, all of you stand, I will count. So they stood and he counted. And the person who complained was standing last. He said, you are the 10th person we are searching for. The sum of worship. You are the Tat Tvam Asi. That 10th person you are looking for is you. Tat Tvam Asi. Okay. So it required another person to come and tell who you are. Okay. That you are the 10th person. So here also, this being a matter relating, an ajnanam, an ignorance relating to me, I need somebody else to tell me. Okay. So, ananya prokte gadiradra nasti, Kathopanishad says this. So, a guru, a person has to come who can tell you your truth. Who is that person who can tell you who you really are? The one who created me. He knows who I am, who created me. So, he has said that. But he is not going to come before me and tell now. So, he has said that in the Vedas, the Upanishads. And it has come from parampara, by parampara. from Guru to Sishya, Sishya to Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavana Hamavyam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manu Ikshwagvira Pravit Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarishyo Viduhu Sakalena Mahata Yoga Nishta Parantapa. That is what Krishna states in the beginning of this chapter. This is how from Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So what has come through the Vedas, this knowledge, this jnanam, is really coming from God. Okay. So that is why when I do not know, Shastram is the one which is like a mirror. If I want to see myself, I see a mirror. If you want to know your Atma, Shastra Darpan is the one which you go to. So that is what it gives you the knowledge. Okay. So in this point is brought out by Krishna in this 4th chapter. Tadvidhi pranipadena Pariprashnena Shevaya Upadekshantite Jnanam Jnanyat Tattvadarshinaha Jnanina Tattvadarshinaha person who is a jnani, who understands the truth. No, Tadvidhi Pranipadena, go to him and prostrate before him. Pariprashnena, ask him questions, your doubts, clarify your doubts. Don't ask questions to understand whether he knows. That is not the right way. There must be Shraddha. Even that Mundaka Upanishad Vakyan says, that Vijnanartham Gurumeva Vigachet Samitpanihi Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Person who is a Shrotriya, who has studied the scriptures, Brahmanishta, who is established in what he has seen. It's not enough to know that he himself must have understood that Brahman and therefore he is a Brahmavit. So that kind of person. Okay. So you go to the teacher, Pariprashnena Sevaya, service to him. Okay. Upadekshantite Jnanam. So he teaches you. So Shankaracharya says, with Parama Karunyam he does it. Because Ahetuka Sindhu. He describes him as he is that is, without reason he has got compassion. Because he has got the knowledge. He is released from samsara. His problem is solved. What he can do? He says, alright, why should I bother now? Like a Jivan Mukta, I'll spend the rest of my life happy. Okay? No. He wants other people also to gain from his knowledge, share this knowledge, so that what he has benefited should benefit the other people also. So that is the nature of the Guru. So he talks about that. Okay? Now, the subject of Jnanam we still come exactly. This is like, the street corner, the Kutari, what they will say is, Kiri Pomb, they will have the snake and that mongoose. Say, you will see the fight between the snake and mongoose towards the end of the show. So you will do everything else except show that. Okay? So ultimately then you will collect the money and go away also. So the idea is not that. So here Jnanam is a topic. So that is the crux, the heart of the whole thing. So I got 5 minutes. I do not know I will be able to enlighten you, but I will try to outline at least what Krishna is going to say. We'll see it in the next class. See, what I am trying to do is, I am not rushing through, even though in 18 days I have to complete it. As we told you yesterday, the stuff is in the first 15 chapters. And then the next 3 chapters are Pani. Just we can not very this one. So let us spend time where we have to spend time. Okay? So we spent time on Atma in the 2nd chapter. We spent time on Sthita Prajna. We spent time on Karma Yoga. So here we will also spend a little time Jnana. If I have not completed, next class we will spend 15 minutes more. So here Jnanam is, he is describing Atma as Naishkarmyam. So Krishna said in the 2nd chapter, what is Naishkarmyam? One who does not do any action. Krishna said, Yayenam Betihantaram Eschenam Mannete Gatam Ubotavana Vijanito Nayam Manti Nahanyate. Whoever thinks that I am the killer or I am killed, he does not know the truth. He said killed, the word he used was action. Extreme action is killing. Okay? So he just took that. He can say, Yayenam Veti Saparana Nanchana, Admoru Karmada. You can say Padikara Nachanu Karmada. But he took killing as an extreme example. Okay? So, I am not a karta, is the point that he is going to say. So, then if he is not the karta, now our problem is, everybody is, world is full of action only. This is a karma bhumi. Okay, everybody is doing action. Then what is this action? If I am the Atma, I am not the doer. What is this action that is taking place? What is karma? Kim karma, akarma, kavayorbi atra mohitaha. Yatte karma pravakshaham, tatte karma pravakshaham, inyatva mokshase ashubha. That is what Krishna says. I will tell you what is karma, what is karma. Karmanevi bodhavyam akarmanaha, vikarmanaha bodhavyam, gahana karmano bodhi. The path of action is very mysterious. Okay, I will tell you what is karma, what is akarma. So what he is going to say at the end is that Atma is akarta, and what is it that is going on, the action that is going on that you are seeing, what is it in relation to this akarta Atma? Then if Atma is akarta, what is all this activity in which I am embroiled? Because of this karma only, I have got lot of problems. Okay, now what is this karma and how do you say Atma is? So to understand the Naishkarmyam of Atma. Okay. Now when we talk about karma, we talked about karma, sakama karma, nishkama karma, nishidda karma, so that, and we talked about nishkama karma as a karma for karma yoga. It helps you cleanse your mind. That's a different thing altogether. All that is a sadhana. Karma yoga is a sadhana. Now when you come to Naishkarmyam, it is jnanam. So how to understand that Atma is akarta, and how do you explain all these activities? What do they mean? How do they explain all these activities? How do they take place? And what is your relationship with that? No, understand that is jnanam according to this 4th chapter. Okay, so we will go to a little bit of details in next class, and then that is the main part, and then couple of things are there in the 4th chapter. Then we will make up all this later. Okay, but these are all very important things. Okay, with this I have closed today's talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.